Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Ghost Rider Vlogs. Today we are going to be talking about Ghost Rider number 4, and once again going to the cover, we will see that the cover is at least better than last time. Not by much, but it at least looks like Ghost Rider. It doesn't look completely horribly mangled as an art style, and we do have a general idea of what's going on. We have a roller derby going on in the background, or yeah, they're called roller derbies, at least at the time. Actually, no, not roller derby. What am I thinking? That's the roller skate thing. This is a demolition derby going on in the background. Johnny jumping out of the way as Ghost Rider in the midst of the demolition derby, and a man with a rifle trying to kill people. So, yeah, that's a long story to get to. But, again, cover is at least somewhat plausibly decent. So the story on this particular episode is that we follow up with Johnny, I would assume, the same night after he ran off after the last episode, and he's still being pursued by police. This time, as he cuts out and heads across the desert, they actually have a souped-up dune buggy that they have prepared to try and chase after our main hero, and pursue him up to the top of a I'm not sure what you would call it. A plateau, maybe? I guess? A small plateau. A decent-sized one, though. At the top of the plateau, Johnny takes the hell bike back and makes it disappear and runs for cover. However, as the police are scouring the area and unable to find him, the sun does rise, and being the injured Johnny Storm that he is forced to hand himself in, and upon handing himself in, abruptly collapses, obviously still looking and feeling like he's in a lot of pain and has taken a lot of damage over the past few days. They take him to the hospital, and while he's there, Roxanne is talking to a government agent. I forget who he was. But she's talking with him to try and help get Johnny off the hook. At the same time, a little bit later, Johnny is approached by a man who is apparently big on money for running demolition derbies, and has a lot of really good racers and demolitionists on his end. And so he would like to hire Johnny, and for hiring him, he'll also help acquit Johnny of all his supposed previous crimes. Roxanne finds out about this the next day after she comes up to Johnny, and with that, there's not much else he can really do. There's not much else that Roxanne can really do at the time, but she's still listening to the government agent, and this is apparently part of the plan anyways. So Johnny gets hired on, and he rides off in his first demolition derby. He manages to avoid all the cars except for one of a man who was eagerly saying he was going to go after Johnny during the derby at the very beginning. For whatever reason, the hell bike somehow manages to quit. I think it's just random bullshit that came out of nowhere. And matter of fact, they don't even mention the fact that it's a fake hell bike. It's made out of metal. No, it's not. It's made out of hellfire. It's a fake bike made by essentially a demon. I don't know. It's just a silly moment to help put people on edge, but also for the setup of the man in the car getting shot at and killed by the roller derby guy's henchman. Apparently, this guy in the car that got shot was actually costing him a lot of money because he's not part of the normal crew, but he was sticking around because it was making him money. So, obviously, being front seat for the assassination, the Ghost Rider heads off after the rifleman, and as he continues to try and flee, Ghost Rider has no choice but to set him ablaze. At the same time that this has all been going on, Roxanne has been trying to keep her ears open, but also is kind of in a bit of a a low point again because she walked in on Johnny talking with Linda Littletree, and Linda, for whatever reason, seems to want in Johnny's pants? I don't know. She was trying to make it look like she was a bit more than just a friend, which she was barely even that. And so Roxanne overhears the talk between the rifleman and the demolition boss, and she's being held at gunpoint at the end of the book. So, good things about this. We got a decent plot. We got a decent setup. We're finally going to get past Johnny constantly having to run away from the law all the bloody time. The artwork is, again, still very solid for 1970s art. And can't wait to see how the cliffhanger is going to end with the next issue. Bad things. The cover art is a little meh. And that one part I mentioned just seems to be kind of bullshit. It fluffed it out for an extra page and also was a nonsensical setup to get a non-character killed so that Johnny would have a villain to attack now. So, other than that, it was a fairly decent book, a nice read, and I'm going to leave it at that. So, we'll see what happens to the next book. See you then.